Welcome to Courageously Go, where we will venture into places we've been afraid to go. Women of the world, we are going to start a movement towards courage. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Debbie DePietro, and I'm so glad that you are here with us. Our show is about this. We wish to facilitate a global conversation about courage. Why are we doing that? Well, we believe that when we live from our hearts by choosing courage, the life of our dreams and a better world for all are really possible. No matter our age or circumstances, we never, ever, and I mean never, need to feel stuck or alone. Our essential truths are as follows. I choose courage. I use my voice. I embrace the new. I welcome challenge. I continue to grow. I am a woman of action. I courageously go. And if any of those statements resonate with you, then you are most certainly in the right place. And I'm just so super excited to have you. And I'm going to bring on this week's guest. And earlier in the introduction, I stressed that this is a global conversation about courage that we're facilitating here. And today's guest is certainly that. Her name is Millie Rodriguez, and she's calling in to join us from Bangkok, Thailand. And I'm really excited about just diving in with her. She's an interesting lady, has had adversity in her life, and is now on a mission herself to empower other ladies and other women who are going through difficult situations through divorce. And she lives in a foreign country and has all kinds of interesting things going on. So let's just bring Millie on. Millie, welcome to Courageously Go.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I'm really excited, and I appreciate you're probably, I don't know if you're a night owl, but you are certainly up late to be on this call with me, aren't you?
Yes, it's a little late. It's about 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Doing one of those Netflix binges. So you caught me awake.
Oh, well, good. Which show are you binging on right now? My husband and I love Netflix, and we're currently, we're so excited that they got Outlander on. So we're on an Outlander binge ourselves.
That's exactly what I'm on right now.
Are you serious? Isn't it good? Oh my gosh,
Yes.
We just watched the Wentworth prison one, probably the most intense. Oh my gosh. Anyway, that's funny.
Yeah.
So it's a small world. And that's what I love about this show is that, I'm realizing with each passing week that this really isn't a big world. You get to know people, and we're really right. It's so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yeah. So let's just dive in here, and I'm glad that we connected. And what's going on? What are you excited about these days?
The last month I have been on this journey of rediscovery after my divorce, and not being able to leave Bangkok because of the terms of the divorce. We share a daughter together. So, and I just entered my 40s. So just going through this new stage and dating again, and that's very interesting all on its own. Just going on this journey of rediscovering myself at this stage in my life.
You're at a tremendous. There's something about the early 40s. I'm 52 now, but I will tell you, I got a divorce myself when I was 42, when I was 41, 42. Oh. And there's something, and even divorce or not divorce, but there's something about that age. I literally, when I turned 40, I switched everything up. I moved across the country from Seattle, Washington to Jacksonville, Florida. I went from being a stay-at-home mom to a classroom teacher, and I just switched the whole thing up. So I don't know what it is about that age, but I my hat's off to you for just being willing to come out and share your story. So a little bit about yourself. I just want to clarify. You're not from. I just want to make sure I understand. You're not from Thailand. Is that where your husband is from, or maybe you can clear that up for us to begin with here?
I am from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay, good. I'm glad I asked. Yeah. Okay.
And my ex-husband is from the States as well. He's from Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm. And so how did you guys end up in Thailand?
I met him while I was a flight attendant for JetBlue.
Okay.
And he was a pilot. And so that's how I met him, and he took a job overseas. I closed. By the time we moved overseas, I had 2 cupcake stores in Florida. We lived in Florida for a while, in Orlando. And I closed the stores to follow my husband around, because that's what you're supposed to do when you get married. And that's what we ended up here. Yeah.
Okay. And so why don't you, what is your why? Like, maybe you can take us back to your story and share a little bit about the trials and adversity that you've gone through in recent times that led you to this point.
You know, I think my courage comes from never settling for the normal things that girls are supposed to grow up to achieve, which is marriage and a house and kids. And I got to a point in my life where I found that I was settling. You know, my husband was not faithful for all of our marriage and all of our relationship, and I never wanted to be divorced. And of course, getting older, having kids, I had to ask myself those difficult questions that I want to start over. What was I going to do now?
Yeah.
How were we supposed to co-parent when he's a pilot? He's hardly ever in Bangkok. It was a very, very nasty divorce. I questioned the possibility of staying just so I wouldn't have to deal with the pain and the trauma. I was in fight mode for so long. We just recently got divorced. The divorce was final in March. So it's still relatively new. But I knew that I didn't want to look back at my life and be disappointed that I put my happiness last, and I kept putting my happiness last. And I still loved him while I divorced him. I loved him deeply, and I care for him still now. But to still love the person that you're supposed to be with for the rest of your life and say, I can't do this anymore, it was a very big turning point in my life. And it was last year when I had told him that we couldn't do it anymore. I didn't have the fight in me anymore to fight for the marriage. It was a one-sided fight. That's when I decided, you know, I'm going to do this coaching thing. I know there are women out there who are just so afraid to start over. What do you do then? You know, who are you now? And those are the questions that I had to ask myself, the hard questions. Who am I now not being a wife? Who am I now, you know, going into my 40s? Who am I now not a business owner, right? Because I own a business. I'm a writer as well. I've published a few books. What do I want to do with my life now? How will my kids see me? Because I have an older daughter from a previous relationship. These are really, really deep personal questions. And I think most of us are just really afraid to ask those questions because we probably don't know the answers. They were afraid of the answers. And so I got to that point, and then that's when I said, no more, me first.
Yeah, and it's really hard, isn't it? Yeah, it does, and it's hard to make big changes like this. And I honestly, I look back, you know, when I was closer to your age, and I think of the changes I made in my life. And now I'm looking back, I'm like, how did I do that? You know, I'm like, if I had really thought it out more, I may not have ever even gone through with, you know, leaving Seattle and doing all the things, going back to all the things I did, leaving my husband, and how did I do that? I sometimes ask myself. It's crazy, you know.
Especially when you, like, by old standards, I was what's known as the expat wife. I had, you know, the live-in help. I had everything I wanted at my disposal. I didn't have to work. I had a cushy life. And to start from scratch, to give it up, in order for me to get divorced, I had to give up our mutual assets because we were married in Florida. And he forced me to get a divorce in Bangkok, and they can't touch any of our mutual assets. So I'm starting at zero. And that's very scary to go from having everything you thought you wanted and then realizing that that's not it. That's not what really fulfills me as an individual. And I'm sure most people can say that as well. Like, you can have all the money and all the, you know, riches of the world and, you know, be empty on the inside and feel empty and lonely. And so that's where I was. And I still cry. I cry every damn day. I cry not of what was lost. I'm over that, but because it's still so new. The wounds are new. in a sense that, oh my God, I really did this. Like I really finally am starting on my terms, the way I want to do things, and that's difficult to make big changes like that. It's scary.
It is. And you're there now. You're there in Thailand, and tell us about your kids.
Yeah.
And how many kids do you have and their ages, and are they there with you now?
I have 2 girls. My oldest is 21. She's in New York at university.
Okay.
My youngest is 7. My youngest is 7 years old. And part of getting the divorce here was that I could only collect alimony and child support if I remain in Bangkok. So that's another thing where the judge told me, if you leave, we can't force him to give you any money. And I had a new life waiting for me in Spain, which I thought was going to be the next step. And I'm, I still have those moments where I feel like I'm still a prisoner, being held captive by my ex-narcissist husband, because the judge tried to convince him to let me go, and because he's never here, he's a pilot, and that's another hard pill. That's a hard pill I have to swallow. Like, okay, I got rid of the man, I got rid of the bad situation I was in emotionally and mentally, but I still feel like I'm in this stuck stage, and I think that's what happens with women who are in unhappy marriages. Is like, you're in this abusive, whether it's mental, physical, emotional relationship, you're miserable. But then the fear of starting over, the fear of still being, feeling trapped. And so I still wake up, like I mentioned, sometimes, and I cry hysterical because I'm like, I'm still stuck here, So having to now live this life where I'm like, okay, I'm over that part of the life. I'm no longer married. He can no longer control me. But I'm still here.
And now
That's
you might have.
Yeah.
You might have mentioned this earlier, but I want to make sure. What is your plan of where are you staying there in Thailand, or where are you wanting to live?
Stay.
Okay.
I'm going to. My plan is to move to Spain. Yeah, my plan is to move to Spain. I really have no plans on going back to the States.
Where?
I feel like
I'm
I
sorry.
don't connect there.
To move
Spain.
to where? Where's that?
Spain.
Oh, Spain. That's what I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time hearing that. I'm glad I asked. Spain. Okay. All right.
Spain. Yes.
That's
Spain.
Lovely. That sounds like a lovely place. What's your connection with Spain, or is that just someplace you have? Why Spain?
I speak Spanish. I am Puerto Rican, so I do.
Okay.
I speak Spanish. I know the culture. I feel comfortable with the culture and the people, and so it feels like home to me. That's where it feels most like home right now.
Nice. Well, what's the time frame? Is this for now? You say you have to be there in Thailand, but is
4 years?
4
years. I have to remain here for at least 4 years. My plan is to open up a bed and breakfast, and like an artsy bed and breakfast with like workshops and coaching and artsy stuff. Bring a little New York flavor, New York art scene to Spain because they don't have that there.
Oh my goodness, I love that. Oh my, I want to come visit when you're all settled in. You like that. That sounds great, and you sound like awesome. Well, you're a very creative lady, and it sounds like you have quite a business head on your shoulders. You've owned cupcake stores and you've written books. So
I'm a go-getter. I'm the type of person that I've always been that way. I feel like anything is possible. I am a hopeless romantic, and I do believe in true love. So yeah, everything that I wanted to do, I've done. I've been an EMT. I was in fitness for 5 years. Flight attendant. Business owner, published author, coach. I just feel like, you can always reinvent yourself as many times as you want.
Yep.
Fear is always going to be there. I always teach my daughters, feel the fear and do it anyway, because it's not going to go away. If you're afraid of something, do it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think that's right. That sometimes I've listened to quote experts about, saying fear isn't real. Fear is evidence appearing